This is a video to tell you how to appear more confident and more experienced when you're playing and performing music. Maybe you're a beginner and you're just starting out. Maybe you've been performing a while, but you just can't seem to get to grips with feeling comfortable playing in front of lots of people, or not many people, as the case may be. You might have heard things like, there's no shortcuts, you've got to put your 10,000 hours in, you've got to build up your confidence through years of experience. And whilst this is true, I want to go through some tools and techniques that you can use to appear like you're already there, like you've already got the expertise. And then you can use these techniques whilst you build your 10,000 hours and become more confident. I don't want to talk too much about myself in this video, but just so you know, I qualify to give you this advice. I've been performing music since I was 12 years old. I'm now 30. I spent my entire 20s touring in a band. I've played festivals in front of 3,000-4,000 people. I've played to many an empty room where it was just the sound person. I busk almost every day. I attend open mic nights. I play shows. I would say I've done my 10,000 hours. In fact, out of everything I do in life, performing music is probably the one thing I feel the most comfortable and confident doing. But that's enough about me. Here are 5 techniques that over the years of performing I've developed and I've seen other bands use to appear like they really know what they're doing on stage, to appear like they're really solid and confident. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is body language. When you first start performing, it can be really intimidating to look out at your audience, particularly if you're playing bars and pubs where there's no real proper stage lighting and you can literally see the snarl and smirk on every person's face that is watching you play. The first thing you need to know is you have to be facing forward. Nobody likes watching somebody that isn't facing them. There is psychological science to back the idea that an open, front-facing body gives off a sense that you are open and the audience can be open and feel good too. If you're closed up and you're not facing the audience, or you're facing the side, or you're in a band and you're facing the drummer, this immediately presents you as a closed human being, and people are less likely to pay attention to what it is you're doing. And to face your body forward means that you have to have your face facing forward too. And this is where it gets scary, because this means you have to look at your audience. But it doesn't. Most people, when they start performing and they aren't confident and they aren't comfortable to face their audience, will look down at the floor, or they'll look at their instrument intently, guitarists just intently looking at what they're playing. But this again closes you off and it really makes you appear like you don't know what you're doing. So where do you look if you don't want to look at the faces of everyone you're playing to and you can't look at the floor or at your instrument? You look up. Look up as if you're looking at the beautiful night sky and all the stars. Look up. Look up into the corners of the room as if something really interesting is going on. I use this technique all the time. Even to this day, I'm always looking up. I've seen many a band, many a professional band, many a professional musician also use this technique. Looking up looks kind of cool, and it keeps you facing the audience without you having to look at the audience. You don't need to look at the guy at the bar who's smirking. You don't need to look at the couple having a fight in the corner. You can just look up. The other thing you can do is close your eyes. There is nothing wrong with closing your eyes on stage. If you're a singer, you can almost use this to your advantage. When you're closing your eyes and you're really appearing to feel the lyrics that you're singing, that looks cool and it looks confident. It looks like you are comfortable on stage. Just close your eyes, feel the magic, look up, and then maybe occasionally glance at your instrument, but not very often. Number 2. Now I've made an entire video about this. I'll link it here. I'll also link it in the description. But number 2 is you need to write and rehearse your set list. I preached the importance of a set list on a previous video, and it's probably one of my best performing videos on this channel to date. I won't go into too much detail here, but if you want a detailed analysis of how to write a set list, then go and watch that video. but I'll keep it short and simple here. The first thing you need to do is write a set list prior to your show, weeks in advance. You should have your set list prepared so you can rehearse it. By the time you get to the show, you know it inside out. The second thing to know in your set list is you should plan when you're going to speak to the crowd. Most people, when they start performing music, they speak in between every single song. Don't, whatever you do, speak in between every single song. No professional or well-known band or artist does this, unless it's intrinsically tied to their act. I personally think the maximum amount of times you should speak during any length of set, whether it's 20 minutes or 2 hours, is 3 times maximum. The first speech should be your introduction. Hello, I'm August Radio Project. Insert your artist name, band name here. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me. Boom, back into playing the music. The second time you speak, this can be maybe a story, a well-rehearsed speech about the song you're about to play, or about something that's happened on the tour, or about the preparation you've had for this show. Keep it short, keep it sweet, and have it rehearsed it a few times out loud. And the third and final time you speak should just be your thank yous. Thank you for having me. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you to the promoter. Thank you to the crew. And then tell everybody where you can be found on social media, where they can listen to your songs. That's your speech 3 times. So what do you do instead of speaking between the other songs? In my old band, and still to this day, I do what's called a segue. A segue is where essentially you just go immediately into the next song. You play a song, it finishes, and you go straight into the next one. Sometimes you can be clever with segues, and maybe you write a little interlude that leads into the next song. No need for speech, just a musical interlude. Maybe the drummer plays a few bars. Maybe you have a delay pedal on the guitar and it rings out and out and out and then in. You can get really clever with segues. And you'll notice big name bands and big name artists do just this. It can just be the song finishes and then you start the next one. Segue, segue, segue. This should all be written in your set list. Do little arrows to say where you're gonna segue. Do a line and speech where you're gonna talk. The final thing you need to do with your set list, as I've already said, is rehearse it. But don't just rehearse the songs in the order you're gonna play them. Rehearse the entire act. Rehearse the segues. Rehearse the speech. Rehearse all of it. Doesn't matter how awkward or weird it feels if you're in a rehearsal room, either by yourself or with your band, and you're just speaking out loud to nobody. Tell your bandmates to get used to it. And tell yourself to get used to it if you're rehearsing by yourself. Practice your speech. Because then when it comes to doing it, it is so ingrained in you that it will just come automatically. It also means you're more likely to do it on stage. A lot of people I've seen prepare things that they're going to do on stage, myself included, and then when it comes to the show, they're so nervous that they don't end up doing those things. But if you've rehearsed it exactly as you're going to do it, I mean, if you're in a band, then you're letting the other members down by not doing the speech. Because they've been rehearsing it with you. Just trust me, set list, that's your anchor. Watch the other video if you need some more details. The third thing to do to appear more confident on stage and to feel more confident on stage is to develop a pre-stage routine. I'm not talking go and pray to the rock gods, meditate and do a chant. I'm talking a practical pre-stage routine. I've written one out and I'll put it in the description so you can copy and paste it and maybe put it on the notes of your phone. But essentially it goes something like this. First thing first, tune your instrument. If you're a guitar player, 10-15 minutes before your stage time, go somewhere quiet and tune your guitar. Make sure it's in tune. The second thing to do is to grab a drink for having on stage. I don't drink alcohol, so I recommend water, especially if you're a singer. Make sure you've got it. Have it ready. The third thing to do is to set up your gear and then test that it definitely works. You are much better to spend some time setting everything up, ensuring it works. Even if the promoter's saying, we're running late, you need to hurry up. Even if the sound person is saying, hurry up, we need to get on with this. Whoa, you're much better to play a shorter set, knowing everything works, feeling confident that your gear isn't gonna let you down, than rushing, playing and finding out that the microphone isn't even coming out the PA, or your pedal is out of battery, so when you hit it to do that guitar solo, nothing rings out. Set up your gear, make sure it works, and take command of that situation. If other people are pressuring you, hey, I'm just gonna make sure this works. That is gonna make you appear so professional straight off the bat. Sound person's gonna be like, oh, maybe these know what they're doing. The fourth thing on your pre-stage routine is to ensure everyone is ready. If you're a solo artist, this is pretty easy because all you have to do is check in with yourself. Am I ready? Is the sound ready? Let's play. If you're in a band, ensure everyone is ready. The last thing you want to do is have the guitar player start the intro to your first song to turn around to see that the drummer isn't even there, still at the bar, getting their drink. Ensure everyone is ready. Almost have a group check-in. Turn and look at each other. Are we ready? Yeah. Boom, then start. As I said, I've written that out in the description. Copy, paste it to your notes, go through it with the band. Hopefully it helps. The fourth thing to do to appear and feel more confident on stage is to minimize anything that reveals your nerves. Through my years of watching countless bands play on stage, I've developed a list of things that I think you have to avoid when you're on stage, that really do reveal the fact that you're an amateur, that really reveal how uncomfortable you are feeling. The first thing, I've already mentioned this, is to not talk too much. Most performers, when they start, talk, and they talk till they run out of words. And then they're left in this awkward bit where they've talked and then, just play the song. Let's just play the song. We play the song. So don't talk at all. Let the music do the talking. That's why everybody's there anyway. The second thing I've seen lots of young bands or inexperienced artists, performers do is talk to individuals who are in the crowd whilst on stage, especially their friends that are there to see them. When you're on stage, no matter how small, you've got to treat your audience as one entity. You are playing to sort of one collective. You're not playing to individual people. So don't single anyone out. If your friend heckles you, a professional performer, someone who's experienced, will just ignore it. Carry on. Definitely don't individualize anyone. As a member of the crowd, if you are watching a musician or an artist and you're thinking, this is good, and then they start talking to their friend, psychologically, you immediately feel left out. And if they've got a busy room in front of you and you're just talking to your one friend because they've made an inside joke or they've made a remark or whatever it is, the rest of the crowd are going to be like, who is this? Why are they talking to their friend? Remember, the crowd is one. When you're on stage, it's one entity that you are projecting your music to. The third thing, and I'm really passionate about this, is do not tell jokes. If you want to get up on stage and tell jokes, then become a comedian. Go to a comedy night. Everybody in the room, whether they like it or not, is there to see live music. Either they've subscribed to the fact that they're there to see live music because they bought a ticket or they sussed out that there was a gig, or as they walked into the pub, it said in big words, live music. Therefore, when they hear live music, there's a certain expectation that they're going to be listening to a band or an artist. On nowhere did it say comedy night or live comedy. So don't start telling jokes. Nobody is there to see jokes, even if you're very funny. Let the music do the talking. The only scenario where I can foresee telling jokes is okay is if it is actually your act. You are a comedy musician. You're Bill Bailey or Flight of the Conchords. I don't know, insert comedy musician here. If you're not that, leave the jokes for your comedy night. The fourth and final thing, and this is really for guitar players, do not tune your instrument between every single song. Unless your guitar or snare drum or whatever it is you're tuning has actually audibly gone out of tune and it needs to be tuned, there is no way you need to be tuning up between every single song. A well looked after, well played guitar will hold tuning for an entire set. There shouldn't even be an opportunity to do this because you're rehearsing your segues where it goes straight into the next song. Unless you have songs in different tunings or audibly it just sounds off, there's no need to tune. No need. So avoid those things. The fifth and final technique that you can do to appear more comfortable, more confident on stage is to slow down. Most beginners, when they start performing, have a tendency to want to rush. They want to get it over with. They want to rush through the set, they're sweating profusely and they're playing everything at twice the speed and they talk really quickly and everything's going crazy. If you're a drummer, this is even worse because you play all the songs at double the speed and your guitar players are like, we've never played it like this before. Slow down. I used to always pretend that everything was at like 1.5 less of the speed. Like I was just before slow motion. One good technique is to have long, deep breaths. In the songs where you're not segueing, take 3. 3 is the magic number. 3 long, deep breaths before you start playing. Compose yourself. And you can do this through breathing, but think slow. You're almost better to play things slightly slower than they should be than too quickly. Don't rush. As I said, sometimes there'll be scenarios where the promoter is running way behind on schedule and the headline band have to be on at 9:30. 9:30 they have to be on. And it's 9:15 and you haven't played yet. You'd be better to play 10 minutes of solid, comfortable material where you look composed, where you're looking at the sky, where you've prepared that speech in between the 2 songs that you get to play. That's gonna leave the crowd going, they were pretty good. It's a shame they didn't get longer. And then they're gonna go check you out and they're gonna come to your next show. Woo! I hope this video helps. I have a lot of experience in performing and I only feel like I should be giving back to the music community. All the things that the music community has given me and continues to do so, this is my way of trying to give something back. If you like these kind of advice, educational videos I do, then maybe let me know in the comments below. If you're new here, then click subscribe, maybe like the video. I make videos and upload them every Monday. I'll be here next week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this, truly hope this helps. And I'll see you next week.